It's Friday, May 23rd, 2025, and we've got some weather to talk about, so let's dive right into that. Starting off with the Day 1 SPC outlook, we've got a large, slight risk of severe weather today in Colorado, Nebraska, down into Kansas, and portions of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. Fort Smith and Fayetteville, you guys are included in this. Tulsa, Wichita, up there towards Goodland and Sterling. We expect to see some thunder boomers today. We're talking about a 2% tornado probability, so the tornado chances aren't necessarily very high, but they're also not something that we should ignore. But the main thing today is going to be wind and, of course, hail. Big time hail up to tennis ball size is going to be likely today from Woodward, Oklahoma, up through Dodge City, and especially around Goodland, Colby, up towards Ray and Sterling up here in northeast Colorado. So it's one of those days where our storm chasers are going to be out there, probably seeing some pretty magnificent structure with those storms and trying not to lose their windshields. And the storms will continue into tomorrow, where we have a slight risk of severe weather in Wichita Falls, Texas, up through the Oklahoma City and Norman area. This includes Tulsa and Joplin, almost up to Springfield, but not quite. And the same thing tomorrow. This is mainly driven by the risk for hail. Okay, we're going to have very large hail possible, and the tornado threat is actually a little bit higher tomorrow. We've already got a 5% probability right around the OKC metro, so we'll be watching the potential for a live stream tomorrow. But just know that the main thing that we're worried about here is the hail tomorrow. And you know, it doesn't stop there. All the way out on the Day 3, this is Sunday, we expect more severe weather, maybe back there towards Lubbock and Abilene, all the way back over towards Fort Smith again. And you know what? It's actually not even going to stop there. On the Day 4, we still are talking about severe weather down here in Texas, from San Angelo to Kerrville, all the way up there to Tyler and the DFW metro. So we're going to have multiple days of severe weather out here in the plains, in the southern plains. So May continues to be very active as we go forward. Now here's what that radar could look like as we go later into the day today. Here we are around 5 p.m. Notice how there's not a lot going on out there. We do have some cooler air diving down from Canada, bringing about some showers into upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, into New England as well. There might be a heavier burst of rain in Maine. And we've got a couple showers out here, maybe a couple claps of thunder in Iowa, up into South Dakota and North Dakota, back into Montana. But we're really not seeing much in terms of thunderstorms until we get into 6, 7 p.m. That's when we really start to see some storms fire up here in northeast Colorado, back into Nebraska. And then, honestly, we don't see much else according to the HRRR. This is one of those days where there's going to be a cap in place, and we're not 100% sure if the instability at the surface will be able to actually condense into thunderstorms. We don't know if there's going to be enough lift. We don't know if the cap is going to erode. So there's a chance that we don't see widespread thunderstorms at all. But the HRRR model here is also somewhat notorious for under-convecting on days like today, and we'll probably end up seeing more storms than what is depicted here. But by 5 a.m. on the 24th, we could see widespread heavy rain and maybe even some damaging winds with a little MCS, or a mesoscale convective system, that's going to try to form here and race down to the south and east. So definitely keep your eyes on the radar as we go into the day on the 24th. And according to this run of the HRRR, we're going to see those strong winds race through Fort Smith maybe by 9 a.m. And then the storms are going to go on and hit Memphis maybe around noon on the 24th, and then they'll make it all the way down there to Birmingham. So this is something that we have to watch. That could lead to a widespread area of damaging winds. But once again, we've got to take these models with a grain of salt, especially this time of year. There's so many things that can affect the forecast, like little outflow boundaries from rain showers and stuff. We don't want to pay too close attention to the exact placement of these storms, but just know that several rounds are going to be coming for this area. Here's the explosion of supercells that we expect as we go into the Day 2 and 3 outlooks. Things are going to just be very active out here. And all of this activity is going to be pretty substantial in terms of the severe weather, but also, I mean, there's just going to be a lot of rain in the same areas over and over again, and this is going to lead to some potentially significant flash flooding. Check it out. We've got a slight risk of excessive rainfall today from Tulsa up to Springfield. Tomorrow, pretty much the same areas are under the gun for excessive rainfall and flash flooding, but now we're going all the way down to Little Rock and Jonesboro. And then on the Day 3 outlook here, which is once again 3 days from now, we've got a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. This is likely going to be another big-time flooding event for our friends in Missouri. This time it's just a little bit farther west. Last time we were talking about West Plains and places like that. This time we're going to be more focused on Bentonville, Fayetteville, over here towards Tahlequah, Venta, and up there towards Joplin. I think that this is going to be the hot spot for significant rainfall that could seriously cause life-threatening flash flooding. And then as we go into the day 4 outlook here, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall that goes from northeast Texas all the way up into middle Tennessee. And we're about to talk much more about that, but first we have to thank today's awesome sponsor. Trade Coffee. Don't just need your coffee, love it. Y'all know we're constantly working late nights and coming in for early mornings here at the Weather House. There was a point here at the Weather House where everybody was just chasing that caffeine rush, grabbing overpriced energy drinks and making those endless coffee chain runs just to stay on top of things. But now, thanks to Trade Coffee, everyone is hooked on the new cold brew coffee that they've got, and we're saving a fortune while staying energized throughout those long work days. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., both for hot and cold coffee drinkers. And they've teamed up with 15 expert roasters to source the best beans specifically designed for cold brew. Just scoop the coffee, fill with water, and let it chill overnight. And check out what they sent us this month. All right, this is Cold Brew Heavyweight Champ Thunder Lips here. Absolutely smells incredible. Everything that they've sent us has been plumb wild. For a limited time, Trade Coffee is actually giving away a free Harry-O cold brewer when you sign up for a cold brew subscription by clicking the link in the description or going to drinktrade.com/y'all. Once again, that's drinktrade.com/y'all to get your free cold brew maker with select cold brew subscriptions. So it's right here. It's at the top of the description. We're hooking you up with an even better deal on top of the already good deal. You're going to love it. All right, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And let's get back into the video. How much rain are we talking here? Well, we're talking about a significant amount of rain. Between now and 4 days from now, we could be seeing over 7 inches of rain around Joplin. A very large area could see anywhere from 4 to 5 inches of rain from Tulsa all the way over to Mountain Home up towards Springfield. And then even beyond that, the reds here, that's where we could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. And that goes all the way down to Dallas, Shreveport, over to Birmingham. So there's going to be a very large area where not only will we see intermittent pockets of life-threatening flash flooding, but we will also probably see a more widespread large creek and river flooding situation develop as well. So what's causing this is this downward flow in the jet stream here. So what happens is underneath this very enhanced jet streak that we have on the eastern side of this ridge is we have a lot of lift. We have a lot of upward motion from the Gulf. We have a lot of warm, moist air kind of getting lofted up, and nothing really happens to it until it hits that jet stream, and that's when we see little disturbances leading to mesoscale convective systems and isolated supercells. And whenever that nonstop moisture train just continues to hit little disturbances like that, we get big-time thunderstorms in the same area over and over again. Now watch what happens as I push this forward. It's going to stay there, and we're going to keep being in the same pattern for a while, but then things do change a little bit, especially once we get into the Monday and Tuesday time frame here. We are going to kind of leave the pattern, but we're going to have this one last disturbance here that's going to lead to the severe weather that we're likely to see on Monday, and it's going to continue the heavy rain right over this area that has been getting hit so hard. So things aren't really going to clear out here and maybe until Wednesday, and then things are actually looking a little bit more quiet. There are going to be several little tiny disturbances that come up and bring about more rain and isolated thunderstorm chances through the deep south, but as far as like this large pattern that keeps big time storms happening over and over again, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a break from that as we go into the last couple of days of May and the first couple of days of June. Now don't get me wrong, it's still going to feel like a relentless non-stop chance of showers and thunderstorms, but I think the flooding threat is going to be more focused in the near term than the medium term. But look at this big trough that's going to be dipping in here as we go right into the end of May and into early June. This is a pretty significant trough for May standards, and it's going to send temperatures well below average in the Ohio Valley, down into the southeast. And at the same time, it's going to send temperatures above average over here in the plains towards the Rockies. Check out these temperature anomalies. We're talking about 20 degrees below average consistently across the eastern portions of the United States, even in the central U.S. Check it out. 25 degrees below average over here in Virginia, 20 degrees below average in South Dakota. And, you know, it's May and June, right? So it's not going to feel cold out there. It's not like we're going to have a winter blast or anything, but it is going to be noticeably dreary and cooler than what you would think it should be in May, all the way through the beginning of June. It doesn't look like we're going to get out of this pattern for a significant period of time. And when we do, we could be a couple days into June before we notice a big difference. And you can see that plotted very clearly here on the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. So between 6 days from now and 10 days from now, we expect the average temperature to be above average over here in the northwest and below average in the southeast, with the exception of Florida, of course. So that's going to be the pattern that we're stuck in for the foreseeable future. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. This is our typical late spring, honestly early summer pattern that we find ourselves in a lot of times between late May and through July, where we have these thunderstorms that could turn into damaging wind events and bring about large hail in the beginning. And they're kind of unpredictable as to their exact timing and placement. So we're going to be watching these very closely. We've got our hands over the go live button, right? And the storm chasers are out there. So if we need to go live, if things really hit the fan, we will. Otherwise, we're just going to be doing video updates as we go forward. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.